It's Friday, August 16th, right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Bianca Bono in Phoenix, where officials have released a new website in an effort to be more transparent, and it's all in response to that bombshell DOJ report.
Another Valley school district is considering a cell phone ban. We'll tell you where coming up.
An iTeen exclusive series continues. A teenager from Vermont becomes an armed robbery suspect in Arizona, all after meeting a guy she says forced her into crime. Tonight, we look at what happened before the robbery.
And could a storm make it into the valley this weekend? Meteorologist Crystal Henderson is timing out our storm chances.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
Good evening. Up first tonight, the Phoenix Police Department is taking steps to try to be more transparent after a scathing report from the DOJ detailed what it called a severe pattern of discriminatory behavior. In response, the city has launched a website where the public can see records and videos for more than 100 incidents the DOJ flagged in the report. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Caribe Divine. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono is live outside of Phoenix Police Department with the new information that we're learning tonight. Bianca?
Yeah, Mark Caribe, this new website lists out the more than 100 incidents identified as problematic by the DOJ, ranging from incidents involving behavioral health and homelessness to discriminatory policing. But tonight, we're taking a closer look at use of force incidents. 36 use of force incidents involving the Phoenix Police Department were referenced in a Department of Justice report, which found that Phoenix PD had a pattern and practice of unconstitutional policing. This deadly use of force incident from September of 2022, where Ali Osman was killed after throwing rocks toward police, was one of 3 incidents that were investigated internally and found to be not within policy. 28 of the incidents reviewed, though, were within policy. It's detailed information newly published by the City of Phoenix in response to the DOJ's report released back in June. The website, an effort to be more transparent, allowing the public access to the more than 100 incidents referenced in the report, including corresponding records and videos. Not all incidents considered problematic by the DOJ have been investigated by Phoenix Police, either because they didn't involve any known allegations of policy violations or because they didn't violate use of force policy at the time.
I can't tell you right now.
5 of the uninvestigated cases are use of force incidents, including this interaction when police responded to a criminal damage call at a hotel. The man in the video had just been fired from his job there.
I don't want you to touch me. No, you're gonna get touched. No, I'm not. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? Put your hands on your back.
It's unclear if Phoenix PD plans to reopen any of the cases that were not investigated. And it has been 2 months since the release of that report, but it's still unclear what happens next. The DOJ wants a consent decree or federal oversight over the Phoenix Police Department, but police leaders strongly oppose that idea. We're live in Phoenix tonight. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. Tonight, an update to a story that we brought you on Monday about a missing Gila River teenager. Authorities saying tonight that the 17-year-old was found safe this afternoon near Des Moines, Iowa. Police say that on August 6th, she flew to Iowa to meet a man that she had met online. The FBI took 20-year-old Malachi Reed into custody and say that charges against him are pending.
Storm chances in the valley are actually ramping up for the weekend. For more on what we can expect and how we're faring overall for the monsoon, let's check in with meteorologist Crystal Henderson.
Monsoon is finally getting back with the program for the weekend, and we are running out of time. Only 45 days left for Monsoon 2024, officially wrapping up at the end of September. Here's the thing, though. If monsoon were to end today, this year for Phoenix would snag the 3rd spot for the driest on record. Only 0.4. That's all we've poured into our rain gauge. It's more dust than raindrops, right? But look at that top spot. belongs to last year, just barely over 1/10 of an inch. Well, you can't have too much of a good thing, and that's possible tomorrow in northwestern Arizona. That has activated a flood watch for this zone, which includes Havasupai, the Grand Canyon, as well as Antelope Canyon, because all it takes is one heavy-duty thunderstorm to unzip, and it doesn't have to be directly overhead for it to send water gushing out and into those slot canyons and washes. So now to your 12 News, your exclusive 12 News monsoon meter. You're going to find most of that commotion pent up across northern Arizona, where we have a 6 out, a 5 for Rim Country and the White Mountains, and a 4 for southeastern Arizona. All of these threats being thrown into the ring, including that top threat of flash flooding, and we could see one of those storms stray away and dart out towards the deserts in the evening.
All right, Crystal, thank you. Tonight, an investigation is underway after Tempe police shot a man they say was armed with a gun at a mobile home park. It happened inside the Meadows, which is a 55-plus mobile home community near 48th Street in Southern. Around 7 a.m., a woman called police saying that she believed her 55-year-old son had killed her husband, who is also the son's stepfather. Authorities came and surrounded the home. They say after making announcements to come outside, the son came out of the residence holding a gun.
When he exited the residence, he put the gun to his head for a short moment. After he brought the gun back down, he then pointed the gun at the officers. At this point, one officer discharged his duty weapon.
The son is alive and is currently in the hospital undergoing treatment. Tempe police later found the body of the woman's husband inside the home. We're working with police to confirm how he died.
A teen charged in a 2022 attack in Mesa has pleaded guilty to 2 counts of aggravated assault. 19-year-old Gage Garrison was one of several suspects involved in an assault on a teen at a party. Police say brass knuckles were used on the victim. The state alleges that Garrison is also linked to the so-called Gilbert Goons, who are tied to several other teen violence investigations. Sentencing in Garrison's case is set for September 26th. New from the I-Team, part 2 of our exclusive series, He Made Me Do It.
The investigation looks at how a teenager from Vermont became an armed robbery suspect here in Arizona, all after meeting a guy she said forced her into the crime.
Tonight, the I-Team's Erica Stapleton has a look at what happened in the days leading up to the robbery and how it plays into the case.
In part 2, her side of the story, we learn more about Helen Simmons' background, how she came to Arizona to go to ASU and become a photojournalist. Instead, she wound up in a police interrogation room after meeting a guy on a dating app. And a warning, some of the details in this excerpt are hard to hear.
We were told that you're a victim of human trafficking, so we're here to talk to you as a victim.
A victim of human trafficking.
You meet him on Tinder in Phoenix?
Yes. Helen walks the investigators through how she met Matthew Jones.
Did you move in with this guy that fast?
Yeah, let me
you
explain
doing?
it. I didn't really have a choice because the first day I was like, okay, you're gonna give me a ride home. He's like, it's late, I'll give you a ride home tomorrow.
She kept asking for a ride home, but said he would never take her.
And then eventually I started to like him, so I'm like, yeah, I'll just move in with you.
Helen said he started controlling her food, clothes, and phone.
And like a few days into it, I started to be like, okay, this is a little weird. He was very controlling.
As the days passed, she said he still wouldn't let her go home. There was only one time. They stopped by to grab some of her stuff while her sister wasn't there, and she said Matthew Jones wouldn't let her stay. When Helen said she tried to leave on her own, things turned violent.
He ended up choking me against the wall and then throwing me on the bed. He tied duct tape around my head, not just my mouth, but my head and my hair. He went and ran 2 or 3 times, and then he handcuffed my arms behind my back and then tied my legs together and told me that if I move, he's going to shoot me. And grabbed his gun and put it to my head.
She described more physical violence and said he wouldn't let her take her prescribed mental health medications. Instead, he'd give her alcohol and unknown drugs. She kept trying to leave, but he'd always stop her, including the day before the jewelry store robbery.
He got out of the shower as I was leaving, and he absolutely flipped out. Like, he grabbed me and he started choking me like really bad. He hit me and I know he bit me right here. That's how I have the black eye, because that was the day he punched me in the eye. I don't know if you
This
can see
time,
it.
Helen said there was a witness.
And then his sister was there and she saw that I was begging her to give me a ride home.
Helen said Jones took her from the apartment before his sister could intervene. She said they went to a motel in Scottsdale for the night. At one point, she tried to end her life or hurt herself to the point where she could be taken to the hospital. Natasha had no idea her sister was in trouble.
I guess he said not to tell us his true name.
Looking back, there were some signs that things weren't right.
There was a couple of times where she had texted me to come pick her up.
According to Natasha, Helen asked for a ride over a phone call. And when Natasha asked for the address, Helen sent a screenshot of Matthew's sister's apartment complex.
But then she texted back of like, no, it's fine. I was just overreacting, like it's fine. And then later she told me that each time he had taken control of her phone.
Another time, the night before the robbery, when Helen said she was at that Scottsdale motel, she texted Natasha to come get her.
I was like, okay, give me your address, I'll come get you.
But like before, Helen scaled it back.
But then she had said later, like, no, everything's fine. I'm gonna have him drop me off at your house tomorrow. So I waited for her the next day to show up.
But Helen never came home.
This is just a portion of our full episode. You can watch He Made Me Do It, Part 2, her side of the story right now on all 12 news platforms. Helen goes on to share that the abuse continued in California after the robbery, and she also accuses Matthew Jones of trafficking her. We have resources connected to our story, including the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which you can reach by calling 988. We're in the newsroom. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
All right, Erica, thank you. Tonight, a Valley school district is considering a ban on a common distraction, cell phones. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly was in Tullison for the discussion.
It's a controversial concept depending on who you ask. But some members of leadership here at the Tullison Union High School District believe action needs to be taken when it comes to these.
Pretty much every student has one, but cell phones in the classroom are a problem that continues to grow. An issue leaders at Tullison Union High School District have been looking into and presented their findings at a recent governing board meeting.
A ban on cell phones will reduce distractions. They will improve students' mental health and well-being.
But how to keep these smart devices out of the hands of students is tricky.
It's difficult to enforce.
Tullison's Deputy Superintendent Juan Ceja says some students get very creative to keep their phones.
Students will bring in a dummy phone, put that away, but then still keep their personal phone with them.
Which is why they've been looking into what other schools have done. Districts in Scottsdale, Gilbert, Apache Junction, and Bullhead City all have different types of cell phone bans, from telling students to keep them in their backpacks to dedicated lockers each student has to put their phone in before class.
Campuses have resorted to designated phone zones where maybe in a particular part of the campus is where students are allowed to use their phones.
Tullison is even considering these locking devices you would find at a comedy show or event, so students can still carry their phones but can't use them. No matter what they do, the district knows they need to get everyone on board. Most parents we spoke with said that they are for the cell phone ban, saying that it is a distraction in the classroom. Students, on the other hand, are against it, saying they don't like the idea that if there was some sort of emergency, they wouldn't be able to call their parents.
With anything, it's about having clear communication to students, parents, staff, and others.
Now, no final decision was made during that governing board meeting, but a spokesperson told me this conversation will continue. We're in Tullison. Chase Golightly, 12 News.